going to start with some questions sent from press from the submission form. First question is from Brandon Moore, Esports GG, to Mimi. We obviously haven't seen much of Sunset prior to this series. I'd like to know how innovative you feel G2 team composition was for that map, and what are the composition's strengths and weaknesses?
Yeah, good question. We have definitely thought it very hard with our comp. I don't want to say too much of what the strengths and weaknesses are because we might be on sunset in the tournament again. But I think we're playing on our own personal strengths rather than what is actually the best comp for sunset, because definitely there's another comp that is very like a main comp. But I think that we're just trying out things. Really, it's not really anything set too much, so we're just adapting as much as we can to our enemies, opponents, obviously. And yeah, so far we really like Sunset.
Thank you. Now we have a question from Ganesh of Strafe to Sarah. It was a pretty successful international debut for you. In the game, you not only played against your opponents, but also against the crowd. Can you talk about your experience?
Yeah, so it was my first Game Changers LAN. I was pretty nervous at the start, especially first game. Like my hands were shaking and the nerves were kicking in, but also you can hear the crowd cheering for the other team. So it can be a bit demotivating sometimes, but still we just have to keep in our bubble and we push through and we won.
Thank you. Now, question from Sne of Sportskida Esports to Mimi. Your team had a great answer for the second half on Sunset, but things got very close. What, according to you, allowed Team Liquid to make that comeback to overtime?
Our own mistakes. I definitely should have called things differently. We kept on going into trap setups, and yeah, that is basically my fault. But at the end, Kakars gave us some good advice, in the overtime, and we kind of just worked it out from there. We knew what their weaknesses was eventually, and we just had to play off that really.
He has another question for you. All the teams have leveled up quite a bit in the Game Changer circuit since last year. Which region or team do you think will surprise everyone at this championship event?
I think definitely SMG can be a big surprise factor. We all know that the APEC region has a very specific play style, and they're pretty fast, which is very uncommon to EMEA and NA also. So I definitely think they're the biggest surprise factor of this tournament.
Okay, now we have a question from Sergio Fiorini from Correspondente Esportivo to Petra. On the Sunset map, when you were attacking, did it give the impression that you were chasing Chamber to take action? Was this really the initial plan?
What did I do? I chased. Oh, in mid, you mean? When I opened up and died? I mean, yeah, I opened up and I shouldn't. I also got him off guard once, and I think I was just a little bit too maybe excited, or I don't know, maybe I didn't listen properly or didn't have enough focus. Oh, my coach gave me feedback.
Yeah, I mean, it was actually like a part of the plan because, like, not that Pit is dying, right? But about, yeah, we just noticed that where Chamber is playing, it's a weak spot because they lack utility with this composition, and it's like not the cipher. So like the plan was kind of to abuse the area where it's like where Chamber is playing, because the only way they can win the rounds when we're going there is like if Chamber is gonna get an entry, and I think that was like pretty successful, even though like Pate opened up and died.
Yeah, I just did what I had to do and listen to Carcass.
Thank you. Now we're going to have a question from Lucas Bauch of esports.net.
Oh, uh, hi, and my question is for Mimi. This isn't your first time in Brazil. During locking, you hear and could get know a lot about the region. Do you believe that because of having that understanding, the adaptation for you and your companions may have been facilitated?
I mean, the lock-in event had nothing to do with how Liquid is actually playing. I think one thing that we really noticed just watching back in general on how Liquid is playing, they're playing very alike as we do. So we instantly knew what we could do and what we could not do. Um, but one thing that I was expecting is a loud crowd as they were in lock-in. And yes, they were indeed very loud.
Pedro Romero from Blix.
Hi, first off, congrats on beating TL and progressing to the next round of this competition. I got a question for the Carcass. Mimi, you mentioned in the beginning of the press conference about the adaptations and the adjustments the team has made. I want to know from your perspective, what were some of the things and slash aspects that you tweaked per se from and the end of EMEA Series 3 up until this point with what we have seen from this team in their match today.
I'm not fully sure if I understood correctly the question, but I mean, the reason, like, I guess the question is about why we chose, like, why we made changes, how we made. So I would answer this to, yeah, first of all, like, for example, Sarah, like, we know, everyone knows that Sarah is like a rookie and having a rookie year this year. And we know that, like, she kind of lacks experience as a duelist. Like, this is exactly what the same thing what we did with Mary, right? Like last year. We took her in, we knew that she has like a really good aim and she has like good mechanical skills. We put her on duelist. 2 weeks later, we see that, okay, she needs to learn a lot of things, how it's played in a team environment and stuff. And I mean, Sarah played it longer at duelist this time. Like, she played an event like in this role, even two, I guess, yeah. And but we saw that, like, yeah, we still can be better if we have like someone more experienced in a duelist role. And even knowing Sarah's personality, like, she's quite a shy person, right? And it just fits her more playing like in a more passive situations, you know, where she can play on herself a little bit more and just be more dependent, because like communication was a little bit an issue while she was playing a duelist. And yeah, and Pate was the one who had like the experience in the past playing like aggressive and entry fragger, and like back in the other game she was playing. And yeah, it was kind of natural thing for us to do. And yeah, I think it was like a really right thing to transition like this, and it worked out today. So I'm really happy about it.
Thank you. Now we're going to have some questions from press here on the room. Please say your outlet and name, please.
Hello, Igor Oliveira for Valorant Zone. My question is to Petra. You changed your role recently. I would like to know how was the adaptation in such a short time?
Yeah, it was obviously my first time playing duelist. I didn't even play it in ranked, and when we started, well, we quickly noticed that I have to work on my satchels. I feel like I adapted quite quickly. Of course, I can still learn a lot mechanically wise. Um, I'm not shy to say that I'm good at adapting, and yeah, I hope my coach can agree that I'm doing a good job. Yeah, did I answer your question?
Hi guys, my name is Maria Eduarda. I'm from IGN Brazil, and I want to ask about something that Mimi said, but anyone can answer that. My question is about the weaknesses that you mentioned that Team Liquid has. I want to know what are those weak points, and what do you think has changed the most from the Liquid that you faced last year?
I think one of Liquid's weaknesses was they did try to adapt, but I felt like they were too passive. At sometimes they had to take control because we were. I feel like we had most of the time the control, and yeah, I think they were lacking. Yeah, them controlling the pace basically.
Back to the remote press, Eduardo Lara from Base Rush.
First of all, congratulations for all the team for doing today. And my question goes to Mimi. In your opinion, do you think that this role swap was risky for the champions? As not only you are now the IGL, but with the role changes that you spoke after the game with Petra and Sarah. And after this win, do you think it gives more confidence for the rest of the tournament?
I think at the first week of this role swap, I was thinking, yeah, maybe this is a little bit risky. But we knew that we had to do something different in order to actually perform at champions. So it was a risk that everyone was willing to to take. And yeah, I mean, I think that it's gonna be harder for teams to understand how we play because I have a different approach to the game than Petra usually had as an IGL, and that might be good for us since we played about three events with Petra as IGL. And for the like duelist swap and Sarah going on smokes, I mean, Glance is obviously also adapting to like because she was the main smoker, so she's also on a new role. I think that it's more fun because everyone gets to do different things that they never have really done in tournaments, and therefore it is good for us in this tournament.
Nicolas Rocha from Periodista Gamer.
Thank you. First of all, congratulations. My question is for Mimi. Hi, Micaela. I want to know what is your personal motivation to be so consistent in the game?
Competing for me has been like half of my life. I don't see myself not playing the game, and winning is the only thing I want to do. So I will do absolutely everything when it comes to like practice and VOD reviewing and personal training for myself. I am trying to be like an example as much as I possibly can. But yeah, like competing is my whole heart and life, and that is the only motivation I need. It's my biggest passion.
Thank you very much.
Antonio from Nerditude.
Oh, hi. My question is for Petra. You were playing as the visiting team against the Brazilian team in Brazil, and you're in new role, and obviously the crowd was against you. And how were you handling that pressure?
Actually, I didn't really feel like the crowd was against us. I mean, in the beginning, I could hear everything, and then when I got to the game, I don't really pay attention to the crowd. But there are also a lot of people actually cheering for us, and I think there was a lot of sportsmanship. So I didn't get that much pressure from the crowd. I don't know if I can speak for the rest, but yeah, I felt pretty good.
Thank you so much.
Arnab from the Spike GG.
Hi guys, congrats on the win. My question is for actually open for everyone who wants to chime in. I just want to know, last year you guys faced Team Liquid in Berlin. Although the team has changed quite a bit, do you guys feel any changes in their play style? And how much competition do you feel this year compared to the last year?
I think that one big difference was, as Petra mentioned, that I think last year they were way more aggressive, way more confident. Maybe the like playing in a home crowd maybe made them feel the pressure a little bit, and I can imagine they were nervous, and that probably got to them today because last time we played them it was a way more competitive game. Obviously Sunset was overtime, but when we played in Berlin it was like 13-11, 13-10. It was super competitive, and Lotus felt like it was our game at all times, and they really let us play at our pace, and they usually didn't do that last year.
Okay, now we're going to have our two last questions from press here on the room.
Hi, my name is Raquel from Mais Sports. Congratulations. This question goes to all of you. I would like to know what you think about Brazil and what you liked most here.
Pleasure. I mean, we all coming from different countries, but in Russia, for example, it's very cold right now. And I'm coming to Brazil, and there is a sun I can see, even though it's raining sometimes, and it's a different air. And I like the food actually. We didn't get like a lot of Brazilian food, but in general it's good and I like it. And I think city itself is really pretty, even though we cannot walk that much and see, but we ride and we can see the some buildings, which is nice. And yeah, I like it in general. I think it's a really nice place to have a Valorant event in, and yeah, just happy to be around.
Hi, Silks Regueiras from Game Arena. Congratulations. My question is for Mimi. Open the World Championship in Brazil, playing against the Team Liquid, in your vision, brings more pressure, or is just an opportunity to show that the two are ready to beat every team?
We had absolutely no pressure on us today, as everyone predicted, as usual. They thought G2 is the underdog. G2 is probably not going to make it. This is a very usual approach when we come into championships and tournaments in general. So we absolutely had no pressure on us. And we also knew what was been going right and wrong in practice. So we were very aware of what we had to do in certain moments, and we knew our own weaknesses. And when we go on stage, it's really seems like the focus is way different. So instantly people knew that there's things that we cannot do and there's things that will work. So basically it created zero pressure. Even though the first few rounds we heard the crowd, it was super loud, but we quickly refocused and was like, you know what, don't worry about it. And it just came out in our favor, really.
Okay, thank you. That was it for G2 press conference. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations.
Thank you.